comes to the promotion of business opportunities in export and investment to the local and international private sector, everyone looks to this one entity, Jamaica Promotions Corporation, or we just simply call them JAMPRO. To do this or to deliver this presentation is Miss Diane Edwards, President of JAMPRO. Please, let's welcome her.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Really a pleasure to be here on the third day of this conference. Let's explore. Before I start, let me just express my thanks to the World Free Zone Organization, particularly to Dr. Mohamed Al-Zarouni and to Dr. Samir Hamrouni, and my colleagues at the JCESA, the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, led by Gary Scott, for the opportunity to address you this morning. Let me also recognize our minister who was here with us yesterday, Minister Orbin Hill, who is the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Minister of State, Minister Norman Dunn, and the Honorable Anthony Hilton, Opposition Spokesperson on Industry Competitiveness and Global Logistics. And let me also thank our MC, Terry Carell-Reid, for having called me out last night on my dancing because I thought I was being subtle and quiet and trying to keep a low profile. Didn't work. However, it's great to be here with you this morning, and I'm really going to talk to you about an exciting topic because Jamaica is in such an exciting place. You heard yesterday from the best investment promoters in the country, from our Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness. You heard from our Minister, the Honorable Orbin Hill. So you know now that we have deal makers in Jamaica. We are on the move, and we've got a lot to offer you. This sector, logistics, has been part of Jamaica's history since the 18th century. The pirates of the Caribbean actually knew that the best place for a logistics operation was in Jamaica. And the British found that out in the 18th century also. They made their headquarters in Port Royal. And we are continuing that tradition by building out the Kingston side of the very same harbor, the 7th largest harbor in the world, natural harbor that is. And the center of our modern logistics thrust is going to be in Kingston to transform our export sectors and make Jamaica the warehousing and distribution capital of the Caribbean. Logistics is transformative, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So Jamaica is the location to invest. Why do I say that? Because Jamaica has a stable, supportive, democratic government. We've never had a coup in Jamaica. We change governments and administrations seamlessly without any challenges by the ballot box. That's what we believe in. We also have a growing economy. If you look at the Jamaican economy since October to December 2021, Our economy grew 6% in the period. The services industry grew 7.8%, construction by 6.3%. Real value added for the agriculture industry grew by 12.1%. Real value added for transport, storage, and communication by 8%. So the Jamaican economy is motoring ahead. And the exciting thing about this is that we are creating new legislation to make business easier. So that business environment, we actually have a whole National Competitiveness Council which looks at national competitiveness and really works to change the legislation, amend legislation to make your life easier as a business when you locate in Jamaica. So we're about to launch the Jamaica Economic Residency Program, JAMPRO for short, which will allow you a type of green card residency in Jamaica upon direct investment and creation of jobs. We're also working on the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, which is creating modern legislation to keep us in the forefront of financial engineering and within the global forum so that we are not a harmful jurisdiction, we are not a tax haven. What we are is a modern financial services economy. And then, of course, the question of skills, because we all know that the human resource is critical. We have a workforce of 1.3 million. And what is even more important is that we have a number of universities. Our flagship university, the University of the West Indies, is in the top 1.5% globally. 1.5% globally. In this little region, we are able to achieve greatness, and you have seen the greatness of the Caribbean punch above its weight in international arenas. So, growing recognition for Jamaica. Yes, there is a lot of recognition of our natural advantages. Our stock market, you saw in the video, was ranked #1 globally by Bloomberg in 2015 and 2018 for its performance. And we are recovering this performance post-pandemic. The actual pandemic, we grew 15% in the BPO industry during the pandemic. So we have achieved a level of macroeconomic stability and growth that is continuing and that has not stopped because of the management of the administration during the pandemic. We are ranked very highly for ease of doing business, #6 in the world, as we said by the World Bank, but we are not resting on our laurels because we are continually changing the business environment to make it more transparent and to make it easier for you to do business. Our PPP, Public-Private Partnership program in Jamaica is #4 in Latin America and the Caribbean. And that's because we have a robust structure developed by the Development Bank of Jamaica, which has a specialized unit to foster, develop, and negotiate PPPs. Some successful PPPs have been our 2 airports, which are managed by a Mexican company called Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico, our port of Kingston, managed by CMA CGM, and our highways built partly by Bouygues, a French company, and also by China Harbor Engineering Company. So we have really an exciting and vibrant economy to offer you to become a partner of. And our credit rating, and I stress this also because our credit rating has remained stable. The outlook from Standard & Poor's in 2021 is stable, and I think that's an achievement in a world that we know is now more and more unstable. Fitch has given us a B+ rating. We've gone from positive to stable, and stable is a good place to be in the world that we live in. Air connectivity. So before the pandemic, we were actually at about 400 international flights weekly. Today, our Minister of Tourism is welcoming the millionth visitor to Jamaica for the year. And that's a great achievement, trust me. Because as you know, we have come out of 2 tough years where tourism plummeted, and tourism is our major foreign exchange earner. Most importantly, American Airlines, JetBlue, Frontier Airlines, British Airways, and Virgin have added their flights. So we're getting back to that 400 international flights and the airlines. But most importantly on this slide, you see those circles, and those circles really look at the distance from Jamaica to various points. And so within a radius of an hour and a half, we are close to over 1.6 billion tourists within a 4-hour radius. So the opportunity is there for you to make Jamaica the center of your air connectivity and your transport into the rest of the region. And what happens to sea connectivity, which is really critical to logistics? Well, you've heard yesterday from Prof. Shirley of the Port Authority that our port community system is one of the strongest in the region. We have 6 seaports and 2 airports linked into this system, but most importantly, we have all the players in import and export linked into it. So that means that you can do seamless, paperless import and export from Jamaica because the port is in the throes of a constant modernization. We have 12 major shipping lines serving Jamaica and a capacity of 3.2 million TEUs. This makes Kingston, the Port of Kingston, one of the most modern in the region and able to manage post-Panamax vessels. So we are there, we're getting ready for logistics. And why are we ideal for logistics? Because not only our geographic location, as I said, the Pirates of the Caribbean knew about that, but it's really about the modernity of the port and the connectivity. CMA CGM has invested over $300 million in this port, dredging the harbor so that it's a depth of 14 to 15 meters. So this can accommodate some of the largest vessels in the world. And where we are in terms of the shipping lanes is really critical because we're right at the fulcrum of the north-south and east-west shipping lanes. So great opportunity for transshipment, for warehousing, for distribution. And then in terms of developing the warehouse, you heard yesterday on some of the panels the importance of the human capital. We have the Caribbean Maritime University. This is the only maritime university in the Caribbean, and it was started with the help of the Norwegians. So this is a cutting-edge maritime university. The challenge we have is to keep those people here in Jamaica because their skill sets are required internationally. So we are really about building more jobs to keep more people home on the farm, as I like to say. So the port system in Jamaica is not just about the Port of Kingston. We have the Port of Kingston is divided into 2. There's a public sector side, which is containerized, operated by CMA CGM, and there's a private sector side operated by Kingston Wharves Limited, which does break bulk distribution, logistics, fulfillment, and is the largest transshipment port for vehicles in the Caribbean. We also have other ports which are focused on the export of bauxite and alumina and minerals. So these are more commodity ports distributed around the island. And we have a diverse ecosystem and infrastructure. The transport and communication sector in Jamaica is extremely modern. We are building out a network of roads across the country which are really showing and giving you more opportunities, more options for moving cargo through the country. And of course, you've heard a lot about special economic zones, but I don't know if the presentations yesterday really stressed that what these zones offer you is a lower income tax rate than the rest of the country. Across the country, our income tax would be at 25%, which is able to be reduced to 17.5% effective rate through the special employee tax credit. If you go into a special economic zone, your corporate income tax rate is 12.5%, and that comes down to an effective rate of 7.5% when you use the employee tax credit. We have in the special economic zones, duty-free importation, no value-added tax, which is our general consumption tax, we call it, on importation or exports, expedited business services, withholding tax exemptions, and if you are a developer of a zone, you do not pay income tax on the rental income that you get from your occupants. So we feel that we have a really great competitive opportunity for you. And then I spoke about the road network. We have 21,000 kilometers of roads and major highways. We are completing the East-West Highway. We already have completed the North-South Highway and the North Coast Highway. So you have a network in Jamaica of opportunities and transport options which can really take you across the country. So what are some of the investment opportunities? It's all very well to talk about the great climate that we have, but are there real opportunities? Yes, definitely there are, in manufacturing and distribution, in support services, and in infrastructure development. I spoke about the record that we have, the track record we have in public-private partnerships, and this is very much continuing. And so I wanted to give you a view very quickly of 4 specific projects that you can explore for investment. The first one you've heard about yesterday in great detail from Professor Shirley, so I'm not going to go into it. The point is you can actually visit this site if you sign up for a site visit, which JAMPRO is conducting tomorrow. So if you want to get on the bus and go to Caymanas and actually eyeball the site, which encompasses 583 acres of prime real estate situated between Kingston and the dormitory city of Portmore. Kingston has close to 1 million inhabitants, and Portmore has about 350,000 residents. And this is the greatest concentration of tertiary educated people in the Caribbean. So you will be on a highway in between the 2 biggest sources of employment in the area. The Caymanas Special Economic Zone is actually a 10,000-acre project, but the 583 acres would be specifically for the zone. Its total project cost is $190 million US. That's what we've estimated at, and this is just for the Special Economic Zone, not the residences and the other warehousing around it. You see there that the IRR is 12.84%, which is quite attractive, and we feel that this is an opportunity to develop a greenfield site in partnership with the government, because the government, as you heard the Prime Minister say, has to do this. This has to be done, and it has to be started really quickly. So this is an opportunity for you to jump on to become really the flagship zone in Jamaica. The Soapberry Water Treatment Plant. This is a water treatment plant in Kingston. Our major water provider, the National Water Commission, seeks to expand this plant and expand the services and the capacity of this plant because Kingston is a growing city. And so we need to expand and modernize this plant. And we are looking again at a PPP to bring in more private investment to meet the growing demand of the city. It's a solid waste and wastewater management project. Its budget is 86 million US, and again, it's a PPP, as I said. There are over 500,000 residents that will be impacted by this project. And then let's look at Vernon Field Aerotropolis. This is a really futuristic concept, which is building a new city in the center of the country in a place called Vernon Field. And what this will do is really to create a cargo airport, which will move product through Jamaica to the rest of the Caribbean and Central America. It's a really exciting concept because of the location of Jamaica. Think DHL, think Amazon having warehousing at this point. Think of this as a new potential airport because with the rise in sea levels, both our airports are in situations where they can become compromised. So we have to look at the opportunity to develop a 3rd airport as well. So this, I think, is one of the really visionary projects, a large project which will service aircraft, which will become really part of the global logistics route, because again, if you look at North America, Jamaica, and South America, there's a real opportunity there. This is 10,000 hectares of land, so it's quite on quite a large scale and quite an ambitious undertaking for a country our size, but we know that we have the wherewithal to do it, and again, this is government land, so PPP opportunity. Kingston Logistics Park is the fourth one, and this one is really situated on the port of Kingston, 80-hectare park, which is situated to the west of the Port Authority of the port, the major port, container port. This is going to be a world-class logistics park, and this is really ideally suited because it's on the port, so you can actually have immediate access to shipping and really very quick access around the harbor of Kingston to the Norman Manley International Airport. There's an $80 million budget looked at for this logistics park, and this park, again, is going to be a public-private partnership operated by the Port Authority. I just want to pause briefly to recognize our permanent secretary, Mrs. Sansia Bennett-Templar, who has just joined us. She's a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce, and they are the ones who lead us in this charge to bring in more investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn more, we talked to you this morning about exploring. What is JAMPRO here for? JAMPRO is really here to service you. JAMPRO is here to give you a raft of services that will make your life as an investor easier in Jamaica. So we help you from the stage of due diligence, where you're just exploring and you're asking questions, and you want information on salaries, you want information on locations, you want to know who owns a specific piece of land. We help you through that process. Then we help you to negotiate with the different agencies that you need to get approvals from, because you need approvals, business approvals. Yes, it's easy to start, but you need to know where to start. So our website, dobusinessjamaica.com, has a lot of information, but nothing beats a face-to-face or a Zoom call so that we can really help you through the processes of starting a business and advocate for you and accelerate those processes. All of that is important in making it easy to do business. And we don't let go of you because you've actually started your business. We have a strong aftercare program, which means that our team goes around to the companies that have located here and ensures that you are happy. We need you to be happy so that we can be happy. That's really what we are about at JAMPRO. So that's really what I wanted to share with you this morning, but I'm really open for questions. I think we have another 10 minutes. So if anyone has any burning questions they want to ask, please. Can we have a microphone? Can we have a roving microphone, please? A gentleman in the middle here.
Good morning. Well, excellent presentation. My name is Juan Operti. I represent a Belgian group that we have facilities, Katunasi, we have facilities in 30 countries, logistics platforms. Quite interesting about the special economic zone under PPP. We have a project in container terminal in Uruguay. We are planning an expansion of $500 million in it. You talk about the internal rate of return and several figures. Two questions. First of all, on which year term was based that internal rate of return, and which will be the exploitation model? How will the state and the private sector will participate? For example, in the case of Uruguay, the container terminal is 20% of the Port Authority and 80% of the private investor will make the investment, and of course, the public give us the port facility to exploit it. Which is the model of exploitation, which is the term of, which is the year projection for this internal rate of return, and how we can get a little deep dive into that specific project.
So the model that we're looking at is really with the government owning the land and leasing the land. That's one model. So just a direct lease on a long-term basis where you pay a lease cost to the government. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is looking at the infrastructure, where the government completes the infrastructure, and so you are leased not virgin land, not just plain land, but land which already has utilities, has infrastructure. And that's the way we have looked at some of these projects. So what you are responsible for then is operating the zone. And as a developer, as I explained, as a developer, you have certain opportunities to attract occupants, and you get, you do not pay income tax, corporate income tax on the rentals. So you have the freedom to develop the zone along the lines that you want, obviously staying within the building codes of the country, because we have environmental impact statements, which you would have to have done, and you would have to speak to or get building approvals from our National Environment Planning Agency. So we would work in conjunction with those agencies to ensure that you get what you need and that there's a negotiation. So it's really quite flexible. So the IRR can be calculated on either of those business models.
And the year and the term of the concessions, the term?
Again, this is flexible. We have tried not to be prescriptive, because if you're too prescriptive, then it makes it hard for people. So for instance, the concession on the airport is 30 years. So that gives you a ballpark, but I will not say that it will be 30 years in every case. Any other questions? I haven't been provocative enough. Okay. Oh, sorry. Is there a question? Sorry. Oh, there's a hand over there.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I just wanted to find out how we can actually get to be a part of touring these projects.
Oh, you can register with the JAMPRO people. I'll ask one of my team to contact you just after the session, and you can sign up. Okay? Okay, sorry, is there one more? Yeah? Okay, well, since there are no more questions, let me just say thank you very much for your attentiveness this morning. I know it's hard being the first presenter to keep you awake and get you going for the day, and I know Terry Carell will take you up a notch. Thank you so much for being a really attentive audience.